Number 8, Carmel Sepuloni.
To the Minister for Social Development, when was she first made aware of issues with the rollout of the upgrade to the client management IT system?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, the Ministry of Social Development interacts with 1 million people each year and is introducing a new client management system which provides a single client record. This enables case managers to spend time with their clients instead of entering information. The Ministry has been developing the system since 2014. It went live at 7 a.m. on Monday, and at 12:24 p.m. an email alerted my office to some capacity issues, which meant some clients were experiencing delays. I understand that staff are working hard to resolve the issues, and the system is continuing to improve, with an expectation of being at full capacity in the next day or so, and the backlog cleared next week.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Carmel Sepuloni.
Why did she not know earlier that there were issues with the IT system, given that WIN staff have said that the IT upgrade rollout was pushed back 3 times due to serious failures in the system?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, as I said, this system has been developed since 2014, and part of that development was parallel testing and off-ramps if they weren't satisfied that when they went live they wouldn't experience system problems. So yes, there were a number of occasions when they decided for various reasons, including that there would be too much disruption for the work and income clients, to delay the implementation of the system. But that went live, as I said, at 7 a.m. on Monday.
Mr Speaker,
Supplementary question, Carmel Sepuloni.
Did the Ministry know there were going to be major issues before they rolled out the new IT system, and was she made aware of these issues?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I repeat that there are no performance issues with the system. The difficulties have been around the capacity, and indeed the Ministry did anticipate some of that capacity, which is why they prepared for the go live by delaying some of the scheduled appointments, and some of the systems were taken down so that they would have the least impact on the transfer of the client's data into the new operating system. I repeat, the system is progressing well every day. I understand we're at 90% today and anticipate being at full capacity by tomorrow.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Joanne Hayes.
Thank you. To the Minister, how will the new client management system improve work and income's interaction with clients?
Mr
The
Speaker.
Honourable Anne Tolley.
As I said in the primary, the new system allows case managers to have a single client record from their first meeting, instead of entering information into different systems. And for instance, currently, someone applying for a benefit in a 1-hour appointment gives information that needs to be entered onto 5 or 6 different screens in 2 or 3 different parts of the operating system. They'd be lucky to have 15 minutes of face-to-face interaction with that case manager, and that is simply not good enough. So the new system allows all that information to be entered into one screen at the same time and retrieved from that one screen, which allows a much better time for interaction between the client and the case manager.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Carmel Sepuloni.
How many WINS benefit, superannuation and emergency grant applications have not been processed as a result of the IT system not working?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, my understanding is that all payments, all regular payments, have been made.
No, the question may well have been misheard. I'll invite the member to re-ask the question.
Okay. Mr Speaker, how many WINS benefit, superannuation and emergency grant applications have not been processed as a result of the IT system not working?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I don't have that figure available, but what I can...
Order.
But what I can say is that the staff have put into place manual workarounds to make sure that everyone everyone gets the opportunity to either have their benefit paid or the information entered into the system. As I say, we are at 90% capacity today, and it's anticipated that we will have everything caught up next week.
Supplementary question.
Order.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Carmel Sepuloni.
What time frame for fixing the system can the Minister give to the thousands of WINS clients and staff affected by the rollout of another major government department IT failure?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I totally reject every assertion in that question. It is based on no fact whatsoever. I'd have to say throughout the country the WINS staff are delighted with this, to have this new system, because it means they now get more time to spend with clients, and that's what the clients like too.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
Order. Supplementary question, Carmel Sepuloni.
Why didn't she front the serious IT failure by her ministry, given that it affects thousands of New Zealanders, instead waiting to be exposed on this government failure today?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I don't know how I can put it more plainly.
Order. Point of order, the Honourable Jerry Brown.
Mr Speaker, I know it's not your job to judge the quality of questions, but at what point does a question become completely absurd because the answer's been given that completely negates it?
Well, if I was strictly adhering to standing orders, then a question like that may well have been ruled out of order. It's a question that I think gives plenty of licence to the Minister in answering it. I invite the Minister to answer it.
Mr Speaker, actually the system is working well. I totally reject everything that member is saying, and she would be far better supporting what is going to be a better operating system for both the beneficiaries and for the staff, and helping people make sure that it gets working.
Question.